Well, hey everybody, thanks for joining us on Logistics Executive TV as we get towards the end of a very busy year. Today I'm joined by a very special guest who has come on today to discuss a couple of very important things. But before that, I will introduce her. We see her as a supply chain maven. She is an entrepreneur. She is a digital operations advisor and trainer, supply chain strategy, automation, and design and infrastructure, manufacturing and construction specialist. She's also an author of a book called The Next Level of Construction Management. She has just designed and delivered her first LinkedIn supply chain course, and I am delighted as always, to introduce Dyci Sfregola, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, Dyci, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Brilliant, and absolutely great to have seen you here in person over the last few years, and looking forward to seeing you back in the Middle East, of course. So let's talk about, well, apart from the various other elements of your background. Of course, you're a founder and CEO of New Gen Architects. You're a consultant working with companies globally. You're a senior supply chain planner on a hybrid basis there in Georgia. And you have been involved in a number of entrepreneurial organizations and global corporates over the years. Let's first of all have a quick snapshot on your book, which you've released this year, I believe, the next level of construction management. Just give us a quick snapshot on that, and then I want to talk about your LinkedIn course that you've been delivering.
Yeah, absolutely. So the story behind the book actually is that I was going around doing these workshops about supply chain management for the construction industry. And it wasn't something that I'd like to say I had a pulse on the market, and I'm one of those consultants that can like predict the future. And I knew this is what was going to happen. I didn't at all. I was doing a workshop. Actually, another entrepreneur friend of mine said, I have to deliver all these workshops. I don't have time to deliver all of them. What's a topic that you would feel comfortable talking to like another audience of small business owners? So, okay, well, let's do digital operations. So I was doing a workshop about how small business owners, like you don't have to be Apple, you don't have to be a huge enterprise organization to access digital operations tools and supply chain management tools. There are so many different tools on the market now, especially with COVID. A lot of not great tools got a lot of VC funding. We expect those to be closing their doors, soon if they haven't already, closed down. But there was also an influx of, investment dollars into some really good tools that were made for mid-market, made for small businesses that are more accessible. We always hear, E2Open, O9, Kinaxis. I mean, these are expensive tools. The barrier to entry is real. So I was talking about different tools that they could use and different just frameworks and concepts around managing operations. So many companies say, we're going to grow, we're going to enter new markets, we're going to sell more stuff. And it's like, are you though? if you can't actually execute on it, then you're not. So a construction manager joined one of those workshops, and he followed up with me afterward and said, you have to target the construction industry for this message. Like there are just not enough of us. There are not enough people talking about this. You have to target them. So I started, to go around doing workshops at different construction management conferences, especially in the modular and industrialized construction space, because there's that cross section of manufacturing and construction. So you really have to be a construction company and a manufacturing company. Yep. And that requires even more supply chain sophistication in order to do it well. And the publisher reached out to me. I totally thought it was spam. And she said, have you ever thought about making this a full-length book? And I said to myself, well, I'll reply because it's either spam or it's real. And based off of her reply, I'll know if it's a real person. So, so it's a
Okay.
real person. And, basically what I decided to do, and this is the way that I got to this, I interviewed for a podcast called Offsite Dirt. And the woman asked me, what are the top three things that construction companies need to consider from like supply chain? And and that is the theme that I took through the book. So there are many, many things that we know end-to-end supply chain. It's like it's never ending. There's a graphic that I show when I first meet, a prospect, a potential client, and they're like, "Wow, I never thought about it from this perspective." But it puts a lot, like it really helps me understand a lot. So you can't tackle all of that. I mean, I could, but that would be like a book that's never ending that I didn't want to write. Someone else can write it.
Yeah.
But I focused the book around collaborative planning, so sales and operations planning, integrated business planning, sales and operations execution, SNOP, IBP, SNOE, and then that goes into strategic procurement and sourcing, and then network design and optimization, plus all the digital tools that support all of these frameworks and these core processes, and then how to upskill and reskill your team in order to improve maturity. So many companies just call a consultant in, but you can't outsource thinking. You can have facilitators come in and like guide the conversation, help decisions get made, but consultants don't work in your business. They don't know your business. They can bring best practices, but at the end of the day, like, your financial constraints, your people constraints, your technology constraints. So consultants can help, but you have to bring people from the company into those conversations as well. So that's what the book is.
So, Dyci, really interested to hear about your LinkedIn course that you've designed and delivered recently and is out there and about. I know you're getting some really good hits and a lot of followers for it. Tell us about the course. How did it come about? Because it sounds like a really interesting journey. And what's the course itself about?
So I knew that the topic was going to be SNOP would actually, it's perfect for my background. I tell people all the time, like I'm very well versed in supply chain. Like my superpower is planning. Like I can plan like no other person. So SNOP is really just like, I know it inside and out. I have tons of experience and I have tons of stories. And I think that's what makes the course really good. I've gotten a lot of really good feedback. And even when I was recording the course with the LinkedIn team, I asked, like, what makes a great course? Like, not a good course, what really makes a great course? And they said, when it doesn't seem like you're reading from the teleprompter, like when it seems like you're just talking about something And I was like, okay, well, I'll just talk about stuff that I know. So like
you can do that.
I'll talk about something. So like all the stories that I've mentioned in the course actually happened. All of the like steps, the frameworks, everything is stuff that I actually implement and I actually do either as a practitioner or as a consultant, having done it in other places. It's not always super smooth, but that's the nature of business. And it's really, whenever I promote it, I always tell people, if you're in supply chain, don't take it. Like it's not for you. If you're in sales, you should take it. If you're in marketing, you should take it. Sales and operations planning requires so much cross-functional collaboration from people who have never heard of SNOP that it makes it really hard for us supply chain professionals to execute on an SNOP process when all of our like other stakeholders and counterparts have no idea what we're trying to do. So it's really like baby's first intro to sales and operations planning for people who are not in sales and operations planning, to really define why it's important and to help those people understand the business value so they will start participating with us. It would be wonderful if commercial participated and marketing participated and finance participated, then we could actually do S&OP processes in our businesses. That would be wonderful. About 7,000 people have taken it so far. 4.7 stars out of 5. So I'll take that. That's an A, I think,
Oh,
So yeah, so
it's
far
pretty
so
good.
good.
So tell me about, say, the top three or four things that the messaging you're really looking to drive through the technical stuff, sure, but what were the three or four things you're really looking to drive the messaging and through that through the delivery on the course itself?
Oh, great question. So I would say the first thing is definitely just to understand the difference between SNOP and other collaborative planning processes. And that came about because I've actually done consulting engagements where people have said, oh, yeah, this is our current SNOP process. We just want to digitalize it. We just want to put it in Anaplan. We just want to find some other tools that we can use. And then you start talking to them, and it's not an SNOP process. It's a one-time thing that it's their budget process, or it's like their creation of their annual operating plan. But it's not a real SNOP process. So I really wanted people to understand the different types of business planning processes and the different planning frameworks. So that was important. That's an important takeaway. The other really important takeaway is that it is not a one and done kind of thing. A lot of people are like, oh, I want to do an SNOP project. And it's like, sure, you can start. Like, let's figure out where you are now in your maturity journey. But one of the really important things that I hope people really listen and pay attention to, there are a couple of different companies that have like built multi-million-dollar operating models and business models around teaching SNOP. Oliver White is one of them, the Hackett Group is one of them. And they have these different maturity frameworks, Gartner, which we're all very familiar with on the in the supply chain industry and supply chain space. And they say to achieve like the highest level of really connected planning, sharing of data, collaborative workflows, it can take 10 to 15 years. Like, this isn't something that you just say, hey, today we're going to do it. Like, it takes time, and you have to know that going into it, that it's not a 1 year thing, it's not a 2 year thing. There are different levels of maturity, and you're trying to get to the top level. That's going to take a lot of time. You've got to be there for the long haul, which
Yeah.
is really hard in a world where, millennials, we're coming into these leadership roles, and a career at a company is 2 or 3 years. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like people aren't always looking to start these really long like projects unless they're planning to be at a company for 5 to 10 years, which, let's face it, a lot of people just aren't.
Okay.
So that's a really important takeaway. And then of course, always the digital tools. Like I'm always going to push digital, and really understanding what tools are out there, how to choose the right tool. What are
Yeah.
the steps to do that? You don't just say, I want to do SNOP. Now I'm going to go look at all the SNOP tools. No, I need to do SNOP. You need to understand where you are, and then find the right tool and the right partner. It's not just the right tool. You have to have the right partner to implement, someone who can really learn your business, who can understand what you're trying to accomplish, and recommend the right tool set and system architecture to
Yeah.
support that journey.
Sure. As a matter of interest, since you're just discussing about that tool selection issue, I mean, from your experience in your consulting, as I mentioned earlier, a wide range have been for years as a consultant to a lot of tier one companies, tier twos as well, in your region. What percentage of the off the top of your head would you say of companies get it right first time when they choose a selected tool? What would
Well,
it
from
be?
my experience,
Is it a disaster, as I'm assuming as it is, or is it a bit closer to Nirvana?
statistically, the number is not very high.
Okay.
Statistically, it's around 30%. If I think about it, that's probably, well, actually, no, it's less than 30%. It's closer to 20, because the most recent statistic before AI, because like now they're tracking AI success separately. When it was just digital supply chain that the research was being done about, the most recent I remember is that 77% do not go well. And it doesn't
Okay.
mean like no one's using it. It's just not achieving the ROI that, was planned, that was anticipated. I would say that that's about right with my experience.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because I have worked with several companies where the tool selected, I think, is the right tool. Like once I get into it, I'm like, no, this tool is great for you guys. You're just not using it. You didn't
Right.
build it out the right way. So, like the selection piece isn't always a bad choice. They just didn't think through the rest of it. Like which I talk
Okay.
about in the course, total cost of ownership. Like what's your plan? Are you going to keep paying the consulting company? Or
Right.
are you going to build out internal competency for this?
Right.
What happens when the person who implemented this leaves? Like, and then the next
Yeah.
person that comes in, it's like, I don't know what this is. Like, well, okay, I'm gonna put it away in a drawer and hope I never have to look at it again. So like the tools aren't always bad. To like, you've got to be a good customer too, you know?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I would say, yeah, my experience is it's the percentage is about the same.
Okay.
20-25% of them actually picked the right tool. None of them have like used it properly because otherwise they wouldn't call me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but the
Exactly.
tool was a good tool.
So if you so to hit you up then on the back end of that, if people were, and we want to help people make the decision to go and look at your course, obviously. I've seen some of it. I must sit down over the holidays and have a look at the whole thing, and I can give you some feedback. But
It's only
what would
50
you say?
minutes. It's not
Well,
even like it's 50
50
minutes.
minutes. There
It's
you
not
go.
even a long time.
Okay,
It's
that's
not a full hour. Yeah.
nothing in a
Go to the
lifetime.
gym. Listen to it while you're at the gym.
Yeah,
Go for a walk.
plug it in.
You
Exactly. Well, what would you say would be one or two things that people should look to take away from your course? What would be something that people should look to uh, engender to themselves from that from the LinkedIn course that you've done?
I mean, I think it's really, really simple, especially thinking about the audience. The audience, like I said, are your commercial team, marketing, sales, your finance team, like all of these people who may not know what S&OP is. So the takeaway for them is really like, oh, we should talk to our supply chain team about this process. When they ask us for this information, we should provide it. When they
Yeah,
ask us to participate in these meetings, we should come prepared. So like from
yeah,
the supply chain perspective, it's not because we don't have anything else to do with our time.
yeah.
Like we have plenty of stuff to do all the time. Like if we're
Sure.
asking you to participate, it's because we really need it in order to drive value at the business in order to just execute on the sales that the commercial side of the organization is bringing in. So I
Okay.
mean, like very big takeaway is just like participate, man, show up,
Yep.
like bring the
Okay.
data, cleanse
There you go.
it, be engaged in the meeting. Like
Yeah.
it's not busy work. We're not doing it because we don't have anything else better to do.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, I would expect no less very clean, sharp, incisiful sort of comments from you and direction from you, and that's exactly what we want. So really looking forward to have a look at it myself over the holidays. Really encourage everybody to have a look at the course. Of course, you're going to have to do a second one. There's no question about that, because I'm
No,
sure
no,
on
I
the
don't. I
success of
don't.
that
I
one.
don't plan to. I don't. I don't plan to. No,
Well,
no,
that's
no,
this year. That's
no second book, no
2025.
second course. This is what you're gonna get. If you need access to any other knowledge, I am available for workshops to come and talk about it, and then that's it. But
There you go.
that's it. That's it.
That's the commercial answer. That's exactly
Yes.
what we'd expect to hear from you.
Get
So,
the book, get the
and
course. I can come help you implement the rest.
there you go. Let's get on it. Show me the money, honey. So how do people get hold of you, DC?
Oh yeah, nugentarchitects.com. As you mentioned, I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own company, but dcmans.com as well,
Yep.
dycimanns.com. People can actually book workshops and trainings directly from that website, and see what other service offerings that we have. And then I'm on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn
Excellent.
is also a very good way to get a hold of me.
And I think people can see this stuff just above us, actually, so it's all good.
Okay.
Easily can find you. DC Man Sfregola, supply chain maven, one of our favourite people around the world to have on the show. Thanks so much for taking time early on a Friday morning. Oh, we're only on Wednesday. There we go.
Yeah,
Almost
but I will
almost
say
at
it does
Christmas.
feel like Friday. We're trying to get to the holidays.
Feels like
We're just
Friday.
trying to get to the holidays. We've made it through whatever this year was. Whatever this year has been, we made it through.
Hey, listen, always a delight to talk to you. All the best, and I look forward to catching up again soon. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. I always enjoy our conversations, and hopefully
Yeah.
the audience does as well.
I'm sure they do. And thanks everybody for joining us on Logistics Executive TV.
Bye.